Hello, everybody. Welcome to Vibe Time with Jerry. Tonight, David has the night off. He's out of the area. So it's just me and our precious founder, Snowball from Virginia Paranormal Events, John Stevens. For those of you who don't know who John Stevens is, he's the founder of Virginia Paranormal Events, and he keeps up with all of our events and what's going on in Virginia as far as on the paranormal side. So, how you been, John Stevens?
I am great and been doing good, and so
Hey, Ronnie.
always excited about this Tuesday in every month that I get to come on here and talk with y'all because it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Hey, Ronnie, how are you?
We always enjoy having you on the show. Always.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Hey, Shayla,
Hey, Shayla.
there's always a lot of good stuff happening in Virginia. You can't say that about everywhere.
Nope.
And that's why I kind of uh, have it easier.
Hey, Culpepper. Paranormal Investigations.
Wow, they come in as a whole team. They just don't come in as Paul Shields anymore. They come in as the whole team. And I'll get into them in a minute. I mean, what ends up happening is we tailed off at the end of the summer with events, you know.
Hey,
and
Steve.
Then October comes around, and October just gets slammed full. In fact, there's stuff goes on during the middle of the week that we can't even, get to, and it's fun. The weather turns really nice, and it's fun to get around. So, hey, Ronnie. So we'll get into some events and things that are happening that I know of. Right now, things have kind of slowed down for the summer, but things are going to be gearing up again, and that's kind of the way it goes. But it gives people a chance to, I don't know. I tell you, it's hard to investigate in July and August. It really is.
It's hot as hell.
Yes, and have you ever been in an old building where the air conditioning is not working, and it's just miserable?
Yeah, yeah.
And so, that's the way it is with summertime. Wintertime, you can just kind of
freeze your butt off. Yeah, freeze your butt off. If you had to choose between winter and summer investigations, what would you choose, though?
Oh, I choose winter.
See,
we had that thing at the cabin one time, and it was freezing cold outside, and I brought hand warmers and all this stuff, and I was able to put on a stocking cap, and I stayed warm. Nice thick coat. Summer,
yeah.
The worst event I ever went to, and it was a shame because it was a great event as far as the weather goes, and everybody will attest to this that was there, is we had an event at Pamplin in September, and Gene Wells was cooking on the grill, and we met at that place on the other side of the park, other than where where the learning center we normally meet in.
Mm-hmm.
This was on the other side of the park at where the camping sites are for the Boy Scouts. But they have a barn-looking thing out there. And so it's open. It's, front and back are open. So there's no air conditioning. I think they may have some fans. But that day it was like even at 8 o'clock, it was still in the upper 80s. It was really, really hot, and it was muggy, and we broke up into teams. And the first place where we went was the house that's right next to that, and we were going inside, and we weren't in there 30 seconds before the power went out, which meant that the air conditioner was out and the whole park went black. Well, even though it was still light outside, Irby Building was going to be out. So the whole night, not only is it hot outside, you go in this house. About the coolest place in the house was when we went into the basement. It was still like 74, 75 down there. But upstairs, it was like 90, 95 up in the attic area. And it was funny because Brandon Johnson and I were past each other in the parking lot during one of the breaks because I was going out to my car to change my shirt because it was soaking wet. I could have wrung it. And so I changed my shirt and I passed him coming back and he goes, "Yeah, you just did what I'm going to go do." And there wasn't anybody. You could say that you might find that embarrassing. I can tell you, even every female there was soaking wet. It was
hot. Yeah, it's a miserable one.
It was, and it was miserable.
That's miserable.
Plus the fact is we walked. I must have walked 5 miles that night. When you're walking, you finally normally get a break when you get into an air-conditioned place. You can sit down, sit on the floor, start investigating, but you're going to cool down. That wasn't the case. It was just crazy. So the whole night, made sure we drank plenty of water, stayed hydrated, and I ended up changing my shirt 2 more times during the night. So I had brought I had a bag that had a bunch of shirts in it for some reason in my car. Must have come back from vacation or something. Still had that suitcase in my car, and I just three shirt changes during the night. So now I tell you why I prefer colder weather over something like that. Plus, the last time we were out at Pamplin, or one of the last times, it was freezing cold. And remember they had the out there at the breakthrough area where the camping area where they had the fire. Oh, that was great. Nobody wanted to investigate. Everybody was sitting by the fire, warming up. So,
yeah, there's been some cold nights. I'm with Shayla. I like spring, summer.
Oh yeah, I mean, no, not every place.
I can't deal with cold. I can't deal with the winter cold. My stents don't like any of it. They're like, no, we're not doing this. Hey, John Sullivan.
We went to, we had an investigation out of Berkeley, and it was 25 degrees.
Oh, God.
And my group, because the temperature started off at 50 when we got there. So it was a nice, chill evening, but the temperature dropped as it got dark. And by like 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, it was down to 25. And guess where my group was going to go? Down to the water's edge where the cemetery is. So you had that cold lake effect of wind blowing off the water.
Yeah.
Plus, it was freezing. I mean, everybody wanted to let's cut this short. Let's get back,
Yeah. Sheila Sharkras doesn't like the cold either. Mine don't either.
So, but y'all had a great picture sent in from, is that from a guest who sent that to y'all?
Yeah, those pictures were taken 1 week apart from each other.
What?
1 week apart from each other.
Same person?
Area. No, different people. Different people. So those were taken 1 week apart from each other because we had been seeing a white mist there. And the picture with the, I guess it is a little girl like walking into the to the dining room. It was just the man and his wife upstairs. There was nobody else upstairs with them. It was just the two of them. All she was doing was simply taking a picture of her husband with dowsing rods. Because, these aren't tourists. They're enjoying their ghost hunting. They're having a good time. They're not really looking to do the investigations like we do. They're having fun with everything. So that's what makes to me those pictures very credible, um, because like I said, it was taken a week apart from each other. And just working there last night by myself, because I'm there this week by myself. I set up all the equipment upstairs early and came downstairs and could hear footsteps upstairs. So it's been very active there. I mean, it's always active, but it's been more active there. And I thought those two pictures were really cool, because the one lady was from Virginia Beach, the one that kind of took the one of the white dress, I guess, standing by the stairwell. She was from Virginia Beach. She was just wanting to do ghost hunting and visiting.
Oh, wow.
And then the week prior to that, her husband and her were just, being little teammates and going upstairs. And so I thought those were really good catches.
It looked like the pictures were taken in the same area.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
it looked very similar, like it was the same
Mm-hmm.
thing, just captured
I know.
twice.
I know.
And
But by two different people, 2 different days, two different a week apart from each other. But like I said, we've there's been a lot of activity up there lately. And
so
I
I
don't know if
know,
it was because of
I,
vandalism of the house. That's, I don't know what has triggered that.
I know y'all tell people on your tour to take
Hey,
pictures
Gene.
and
Hey,
send them in.
Tina.
Um, if they capture something, to go ahead and send
Yeah.
it to y'all.
Yep.
Is that what they did, or did they see it that night?
No, the one lady saw it that night. The one that took the one with the white in front of the stairwell. She saw it that night and she said, I don't know what this is. She came downstairs. She's like, I don't know if this is anything or not, but can y'all take a look at it? The one with the girl or the apparition walking into the dining room, that was sent via email, because we give them our card and we're like, hey,
Right.
if y'all catch anything, let us know. And that's not all the evidence we've posted. There's one other video I haven't posted yet of two young boys sitting in the smoking room, and they were just simply asking their questions. And the chandelier, I know the chandelier already flickers, but the way that chandelier blacked out and blacked back on, and their reaction, they got up and ran out. Because I've been there long enough to know that chandelier doesn't do that. We know that it does a flicker, but to completely black out, the K2 meter went off and then the chandelier blacked out and they left. I haven't posted that yet. So it's been pretty interesting.
Wow.
And I wear a body camera when I'm by myself like that. I just keep a body camera on. I don't, from the time I get there until the time I leave, because I'm alone. Not that that makes me feel uncomfortable. It's just, you never know what's going to happen.
Well, it's good to see from my point of view that,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I haven't judged how tall or big the figure is. I don't know if you can or not. And I try to compare it to the picture that I took up there. Of course, mine's in a different one across the hallway, but you can clearly see where it is as opposed on
Yeah.
the wall. It's like a 4 foot high
Mm-hmm.
thing. It's really small. I mean, when you compare the picture to that, when you're standing there and you look at it and say, "Oh, it came up to here," So it's just really a small figure in the picture that I took. And those, I'm like, I'm finally glad that somebody else caught something up there,
Yeah.
figure wise, because there is a lot of activity up there.
Yeah.
In fact, with how many times, like I've heard footsteps. I know you've heard footsteps
Yep.
numerous times, but when I heard them, that was the first time I had ever heard them because I was up there by myself. So I knew it wasn't anybody else.
Yeah.
And those footsteps were real. And in fact, it pulled me out of a room because I thought maybe somebody was upstairs, the third floor,
Mm-hmm.
coming
Mm-hmm.
down the steps. Poked my head out the door to see who it could possibly be. And I was like, well, you may not want to do that, John, because you don't want to see what's coming down those steps, and
Yeah.
because ain't nobody up there. And so I think, not going to get into what causes those kinds of things to happen, other than it seems to be amping up, or at least there are other people capturing
Mm-hmm.
evidence, and you're promoting that. In fact, it would not surprise me that you start to see a lot more, because the more and more pictures and videos and stuff y'all get and you promote in your tour, hey, these are what we have captured in this house.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are finished here and you get to investigate and walk around, take pictures, take videos, walk around, and you will just automatically start to capture, and people will start sending things.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. And we encourage people to send things and record. We tell them it's very important to record, what you're doing, because we always have those cool stories. But when it's recorded, the evidence is there. And, it has been ramping up. I mean, just last night, talking to the security guard, she's like, oh, I dread when I have to come up here. They know us. That's what's so funny, is that they know us, for one. And I know that she went up, cut them lights off last night, and came back downstairs. I know she did. Well, guess what? I'm doing the tour, and I look up, and the third floor lights are on. And she was like, they always play jokes on me. I come over here, I cut these lights off. And she said, and then I'll drive up the driveway and they'll be right back on. And she said, and I got to come in this place by myself because they don't do pairs of security guards. It's just one, And sure enough, last night, she's like, all right, I'm going to go up here and cut these off. And I knew she cut them off. And then doing the tour, I looked up, I was like, oh, she is not going to have fun with this one tonight. And they were right back on. And we actually have video evidence, I told you from, I think, last time, of a light cutting on as we were doing the tour, knowing full well that David Flowers and his group was upstairs, my group was outside, and I saw that light cut on, and I was like, oh, and I got it on my body camera. I was, wasn't expecting it, and it wasn't a guest. There was no person in that room. And then that night, guest did an EVP session, and he asked, "Are you an officer?" And the guy clearly said, "Yes, I am."
wow.
So it's just amazing to me.
Had somebody reach out to me today to ask what where the Powhatan plantation is, and they were telling their friend, this is from out of town, this is where you need to go. And so they wanted all the details, which I gave them. So I thought that was neat, kind of tied in that we're going to, and I tell people all the time about it. I said, Hilton owns it now, but they may call it, it seems like it changes names every once in a while to something.
Yeah.
It's always Powhatan something, but whether it's Historic Powhatan or Powhatan Resorts, or it's
I
always.
think they call it to a Historic Powhatan now.
Yeah.
And you're right, Hilton has taken it over. And Starting in September, we'll be doing the tours Mondays and Saturdays, and they start at 8 p.m. Right now it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday. They start at 9. But
You mean
once
wait, not Friday, Saturday, right?
excuse me, I'm sorry, Monday, Wednesday, and Saturdays, I apologize, 9 p.m. And then in September, it'll start being Mondays and Saturdays at 8 p.m.
That's a good time.
Mm-hmm.
In fact,
And,
that'll be good.
yeah, and I always tell people if they're interested in going on the tour, at least reach out to David Flowers and let him know so he'll know so he'll know that it's people that are not actually staying on the resort, even though people can stay on the resort if they want. But we just always, tell them to, I always tell them to reach out to David Flowers to let him know so he'll know because security needs to know.
Right. Well, uh,
Gene,
I
he's
hope Gene,
fine.
I hope Gene is feeling better. His
I
family's
guess he is.
his family's been through the ringer.
Yeah.
Had a chance to go and see Lyle and Tana this weekend. The Lots is up in up near Waynesboro, and saw a bunch of people. They had a good crowd up there at their place. Nice get together. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Seeing John and Lynn Harris, Brandon and Taylor were up there, and a bunch of others, and we just had a good time. And we can have fun and not investigate. We can have fun and not talk
Right.
paranormal, but we did do our share of that because John and Lynn had been. They rented a house there on the Gettysburg battlefield, right next to it, and
Nice.
it's like it wasn't a bed and breakfast, I don't think, but it was a small house, small building that they rented and stayed in, and they had a blast, and they can't wait to do it again. Is what they said. So, and it's funny because there are people going to Gettysburg left and right for various things. I hear about it a lot.
You lose me. If you lose me on the internet, I'll get back on as quickly as I can. You just keep the show rolling, John Stevens.
Oh, well, you'll come back and it'll be something totally gone off the reservation.
Gene Wells will keep you straight. Gene Wells got it.
Yeah, it's like a comedy duo. We get me and Gene together, and we'll be on tour.
Yes.
Before the events at the cabin, it's the Gene and John show.
That works for me. Take it away. I noticed that my bars were getting low, so I'm like, oh God.
Yeah, you got fuzzy there for a minute.
Yeah.
Just keep talking. If you freeze up, we'll just hear you until it comes on.
Okay. All right, that works for me.
Or either one, don't move.
Okay, I'll just.
Yeah, just stay. Make everybody think that you're frozen.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, stay moist. So recently, had a great time spending time with some friends, Stephen Thompson and his group, and John Sullivan, and all those guys at Belle Grove. That was a great night.
That's the bucket list for me.
Yeah,
I passed Belle Grove when I was on my way to Culpeper with Victor.
You did.
And I was like, oh.
That's right. You did.
I did.
And I'm glad you did that because you can, see where it's at, and it's a pretty rural place, but it is really a lot of fun because there's multiple locations you can go there when they do have investigations there. There's the house, there's the downstairs of the house. If they allow you to go upstairs, that's fine. We did because there wasn't anybody else staying there. the caretaker's house, and the outdoor kitchen. So there's plenty of places to rotate to. And of course, the caretaker's house is where I always have a lot of fun. You know, we had a good night. It was a lot of fun. And it's always good hanging around some pretty cool people and it not being super crowded. So,
Now, let me ask you, because I don't know if Sully's on here still, but is that like, because I wanted to like simply drive down the driveway. I didn't. I kind of passed it. Are you allowed to do that?
if you go quick. No, I'm
Okay,
just
because I
kidding.
don't know. I mean, some places
There-
you can drive down the driveway, look at it, and leave. I wasn't sure how that.
Yeah, it's I don't
Yeah,
think
I
she
don't
would.
know.
I don't think she would mind. Go down to the driveway and go right by the house. And
Yeah,
I
I
did it one time, and she came
wasn't
out
sure.
and I said, "Hey, I'm just taking some pictures of the house," and she was fine with that. But that was a long time ago before I got into investigating. So, or somewhere early, I'd never.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not. I don't know. I just. So does
Yeah,
the driveway? Does that road go directly to the house? Then
it
that's
does. It
what
goes
I
right.
was
Yeah,
wondering.
it goes right to the
Okay,
house, and then it circles on um, around. You know, like a big circle in front of the house, and then
I got you.
you just keep on driving on the way. And that church that's there on the corner is a pretty neat property to go and check out as well.
Okay.
You can park over near the church. There's a little pull off parking lot thing. Um, yeah, it's a whole that whole great. That's a whole great area. I tell you the area that I really like is across the river at Port Royal, and the historic homes in there are just amazing. Um,
Yeah.
just
Gene
really
says if you
amazing.
go past the house, you'll end up in the river. I'll end up in the river if I go past the house.
Yeah, and incredible views of the river. I love the inside of the main house. It is just beautiful. I like the colors on the walls. You got some rich, vibrant yellows and blues, and some red, and I mean it's just, but it's so attractive. I mean it's. I don't know if there's any pictures existing of when the house from like the 1800s or anything like that, but um,
Right.
it there is a neat display they have down in the basement that shows the various owners over time. You know, it changed
Oh wow.
hands. It changed hands a lot, and a lot of times people did changes to the house. So, um, you know, not always for the good. You know, in
Right.
fact, when I like to tell this story as a teenager. I used to go by there all the time on the way to Colonial Beach because we had a place there. And Donna's first husband was from King George. So they lived, and Ricky, her first husband, was, um, went to King George High School. He had a younger brother that was about a year or two younger than me, but we hung around all the time. And I would go stay with him a lot of times. And one, just to keep us busy and get us out of people's hair, I'm sure his mother was like, these kids are driving me nuts. And we took a drive where they took us over to, it was me and Harvey was his name, and a couple of his cousins went over to that house. And I loved history at that time. I loved big mansions, but the house was in desperate
Mhm.
need of repair. It was paint peeling everywhere. It was still beautiful, but it was well past its stage of it was an awful repair. We went over there to go swimming.
Oh,
I go back, fast forward a few years, and I go back over there for an event, and I'm like, I know I came here and went swimming. Where's the swimming pool? and you can actually see the outline of the swimming pool that kind of sits off to the side of the house,
Oh
where
wow.
it used to be. They filled it in, but it's mostly grass. But there is a little cement thing that goes around. That was the that's where the pool was, because that was a great day. Being able to go out and go swimming in the pool at this historic mansion, and I'll never forget that. As
Right.
as a kid, but seeing it today, I mean, it's never looked better. I mean, it's really just awesome. Um,
Shayla said it's really nice and very well taken care of.
yeah, and Shayla lives up there near where the other Bell Grove is, and there's two Bell Groves. So every time, and John Sullivan will tell you this, people will hear about the ghost tour or an investigation and show up at the wrong Bell Grove,
Yes.
and they ain't
Wow.
nowhere near each other. Um,
Wow.
the other Bell Grove is 2.5 hours away up in the mountains. Um, and that's, but there is a connection, family connection, and I don't know if it's because this is James Madison's birthplace. Okay, James Madison, I think it's his sister married a gentleman up in that part of Virginia, and they decided to name that house. And I might butcher that story. I may have gotten all those key figures wrong, but that house was named Belgrove as well. That house is a little bit. It has its own good history. It had a Civil War battle was fought there on that property. So you can tour that house today. It is a beautiful house. I mean, they don't look nothing alike, but in
Hmm.
itself, that is a beautiful property too. I
Yeah,
mean,
Shayla said they don't allow paranormal investigations at the Bell Grove near me. I love going to that one as well.
the last time I was there, we it was a self-guided tour. That means you go into the house and you have free reign. And we walked
Oh
around,
wow.
me and the guys, and we just walked around. We were the only ones there that day, and we had the whole house to ourselves. And so we could spend as much time in a room as we wanted to, and you could take pictures. And I took a ton of pictures and read all the information they had out about things, and it was really a lot of fun. They had a nice little exhibit building. It was a barn in the back that they had redone. It was really, really nice. Uh,
Yeah,
but
Shayla
yeah,
said you can't do that anymore. Now you got to have a guide.
yeah, yeah, and the
No pictures allowed. Said no
yeah,
pictures allowed anymore either. Wow.
yeah. It's a lot of people have tried to get them to open up to paranormal. They won't do it, and that's kind of the way it is.
Yeah.
With the Stratford Hall, um, they won't do paranormal stuff either, but they did there for a couple of years. They need to bring that back because it was very popular. Where they had a Halloween um, night there, and they would do tours of the house in candlelight.
Oh,
So that's really a big, beautiful old house, but they ain't nothing like walking through it in the dark, by candlelight, because then it just takes on a whole new aura.
wow.
Yeah, and then having the spotlights on the building from the outside just shining. Everything else is black, but those lights hitting that building made it look so creepy. It made it look like it was a castle, or something. And so it was a lot of fun to walk around the grounds. Oh, and they have a mausoleum, 100 yards from the house, slightly into the woods. And you walk down there, and of course the Halloween characters they had um, a vampire that would come out of the casket or something like that. So I think you froze up, Jerry.
I know it.
You're good there now. Let me go over some paranormal events that are coming. And we have this is probably a good time to do that.
Yes, it is.
I wanted to mention real quick though. Did y'all see? John Sullivan posted this as well. There was a Bigfoot sighting in Spotsylvania. I mean, it was well publicized. Well, Matt Moneymaker, who is on one of the shows, he has a big podcast and everything, and he was the first one to mention it.
Okay, Kate, on Bigfoot though, did anybody get any pictures? Because I don't know. I just saw these arrows and red circles.
Yeah, because someone had seen it cross the road, and they were showing the maps were showing where this exactly happened.
Okay, that's when you need a dash cam. Yep. Okay.
So there's a website you can go to that I think there's a link actually with that link that they post every sighting that they hear of. Okay. all over the world, country, and that's the first one in Virginia in quite a while. But a lot of them are very interesting and legit when you look at them on the maps and stuff like that, where people are say they are seeing these things. The funny thing is that's not the first time somebody has spotted something like that in that area.
Shayla.
So
why did Bigfoot cross the road? Anybody? John Stevens? Gene Wells, to get moist.
I have no idea, but I just thought I'd mention that. That was on August 9th.
I saw it and I thought it was quite interesting, and I just didn't understand all the red circles and the arrows because I don't read stuff. I just kind of look at the picture and I'm like, what is this? Red circle? Is it true?
Well, like I said, Matt Moneymaker published it. He has like over 1 million followers on Twitter, and he put it on there, and people were blowing it up. I mean, they were like going wild with it.
Yeah.
So, not saying it's real or not. I'm just saying
it's a sighting.
Spotsylvania made the big time in the paranormal world.
It's a sighting. Yeah.
So
what do y'all think about this in the group? I mean, John wants to get into paranormal events, but I just, what's everybody's opinion on that?
Yeah, we can talk Bigfoot all night if you want. I don't care.
I mean, we got till 9 o'clock. We're good. What time is it, John Stevens? I ain't keeping track of it.
8:38.
See, it's all good.
Yeah, I'll get to talking about everything and look up, and it'll be like 3 minutes to go. I mean,
the Spotsy beast.
Nobody has any opinions on Bigfoot. They don't want to be considered a. So I'll and y'all can keep.
Yeah, just put in the comments and go. Let's
talk amongst yourselves while I.
Let's do some events.
Let me say this. So there's a big event that's happening out in Yakima, California. Okay.
Yeah.
That's where Bob Gimlin lives. Now everybody's saying, who is Bob Gimlin? Bob Gimlin is the guy that was with Roger Patterson when Roger Patterson, they came upon the Bigfoot out there at Bluff Creek, the famous Bigfoot video that everybody in the world has seen. Bob Gimlin, who was a horseman, did a jack of all trades, Patterson was into Bigfoot. He wanted to make a film about Bigfoot. He wanted to make a documentary. He had written a book about Bigfoot. He had met all the Bigfoot um, people, and him and Bob went to. He talked Bob into going with him one more time, and so they decided to go out. And Bob was like, "I got to take care of my wife and family," you know.
Right.
And Bob was you know, he was in the military for a long time, and he came home and became a rodeo rider and trained horses, and he was really just a country guy and a big time cowboy is what he was. I mean, true cowboy.
Mm.
But he would do anything. He would do what they call hot tar roofs, where they get up on the roofs and tar the roofs. And he'd just do odd jobs just to keep his head above water, right? And so Roger was quick to always like, well, Roger was a dreamer, put that out there. And he talked Bob into going with him. Let's go out there. They had been out before, and they started off in early October. And they took the trailer as far as they could. Even to this day, that place is very remote. I mean, the only way you can get there is on horseback, or you got to walk in. You ain't driving. There ain't no roads. And they got on horseback and they made their way. And it took till the end of October. Now, Roger's talking about, like, I'm filming this movie. I'm making this documentary about Bigfoot. And he does some filming of the area. He does filming of B-roll stuff, something that's going to be filler for the movie. And Bob is they're going back there. Now, the reason that they went to this particular place is there had been a logging company out there that had a lot of their equipment messed with. And they kept coming back and finding a bunch of huge footprints in the muds up there because it rained all the time. And those loggers knew that there was a creature out there. They just didn't know what it was. I mean, but they could see the evidence almost on a daily basis, these huge footprints. And so, in order to get there, they were going to have to go in and, with the pack mule and carrying all that stuff. And they made it back in there. Now, they had left in early October. Now it's like, I don't know, late October. It's 3 weeks later. Roger Patterson is almost out of film. He has used up all of his film that he rented a camera that was very expensive. Hey, Paul. That camera was very expensive for him to rent. And thank good he did rent that camera, because it ended up that type of film that has to be used in that camera is awesome quality for that time, but it also can be, when you replicate it with what we can do today, it's the pixels. They don't, you don't lose that. So to make a long story short, Bob and him get back in there, and they are so, this is the most remote place you can ever dream of. 7 days or something to get back into that place with horses. And they're back in there, and they had started to see some stuff, but Roger's still filming. And they turned a corner at Bluff Creek, and there had been some rains and some storms, some floodings that had thrown trees and stuff down everywhere. Mm-hmm. And Bob, and I will say this. So Bob, I've heard him speak several times. he does not deviate from his story. It is the exact stories time after time after time. I don't care what you ask him. And he's the most believable person you can talk to. I mean, he really is. He has never gained anything off of this. No money.
Mm-hmm.
He's a, he was not in it just to maybe make a little money for it, to stay alive. So they turned that corner at Bluff Creek in the woods, and the horses reeled up. His horse did,
Mm-hmm.
which he said would never happen with him on it. He would not allow that kind of his horse to do that, but it got spooked, and then that's when it actually, I don't know if it threw him or threw Roger off the horse. And to get them calm, they look and they see that thing 100 yards away or whatever it was crossing that creek bed. And it stops and looks at them. The famous where it turns its head and looks. Everybody says, it's just a man in a monkey suit. Well, we'll save that for another day because they didn't make monkey suits back then like that. Even Planet of the Apes was the best they could do.
Right,
and
right.
So that film and everything has been dissected, and they can prove that is not a man in a monkey suit.
Mm-hmm.
And when you hear Jeff Meldrum, Dr. Jeff Meldrum, who's a studies ape anatomy, gorilla anatomy, human anatomy, walking patterns. And they do the still footage of it walking away. He can match it with exactly a gorilla's walk. I mean, it's like you film in, and guess what you see? You see two boobs. Now, if you were going to fake something, if you were a man in a big monkey suit, say you're a big guy and you're going to put on a monkey suit and go trancing through the forest, would you put boobs on it? Oh, let's make this real believable and add some boobs to it. You wouldn't have time or money or anything. Plus the arm length. There's a million things you can dissect about this thing, right? Roger Patterson falls off the horse, grabs his camera, and goes running towards it. It stops. Bob Gimlin raises his gun because he wants to protect himself and the horses and him and Roger. Because Roger says, cover me. So Roger's pointing the gun at this thing, and it's not scared of, Bob points the gun, and it's not scared of Bob. And it turns and looks at him and stares him down and then decides, y'all ain't worth my time, and it takes off walking again. They have a good stabilized version of that video. The original video is it's Roger running and trying to get it to where he's on a stump and able to stop it and start filming as it walks away. That is the last part of that film roll. When he filmed that thing walking away, that film ended. That roll ended. The rest is history because Roger Patterson dies of cancer in the 70s before he can really promote. Bob Gimlin walks away from it as basically a nobody. And then people start seeing Bigfoot everywhere, and especially out there in California. Right. Well, whatever happened to Bob Gimlin? Let's go find him. And 40 years later, Bob still hadn't received any kind of money or anything towards this. It's only been in the last 5 years that a lawyer said, Bob, everybody's been using your likeness. Everybody's been using everything you've said, and they ain't paying you for it. You need to make some money. You're entitled to this money. People are not entitled to steal your image and use it.
Right.
There's a big Bigfoot thing happening in Yakima, California coming up. That is the last Bob Gimlin public event he will do. He's 93. I was hoping he would do more, but his wife does not want him out doing stuff like this anymore because of his health. He's not in bad health. She just wants to keep him around a lot longer, and him going all, because he went to Europe for a little bit, and he's been going around the country. But she's like, Bob, you need to settle down. I don't want anything to happen to you. So it'll be very heavily attended because people will know that it's the last one. They'll go to it. That's a little bit about that. I encourage everyone to find a good video of that film and a good breakdown of it. And there are several people that do it. But when I talked to Jeff Meldrum myself, and I asked him about, I didn't ask him if he believed in Bigfoot. I just asked him what you saw in that video. Was that a man in a monkey suit? And he said, "There's no way a man could mimic or do that." So
David Flowers.
So David Flowers decides to join us. But I want to just kind of quickly talk about some events real quick while we just got a few minutes. I remember I told you, usually I could just wait until there's like 30 seconds left and try to squeeze it all in. This weekend, Goochland High School, there's an educational seminar put on by Flumeri. They were going to do an investigation afterwards. That's at Central High School in Goochland. And then 9/21, the Pamplin Park event put on by Crop and the many people that will help them there. That starts at 6. Tickets still available. 9/28, our friends with Haunted Nights are doing an event in Gettysburg. A lot of people are going, like I said, going out of the area for the time being to do some events. That's one of the places, Gettysburg Academy. That's on the 28th. First weekend in October and the second weekend, October 7th and 14th. I don't know if that's a weekend or not. Paul Shields just posted that. And that is the awesome, it's a Monday night. That's the awesome Culpeper ghost tours that they do in Culpeper. So I'm just going to keep going while Jerry floats around in La La Land.
I know. On the internet, floating around.
And then on the 12th of October, Bacon's Castle is going to be doing, starting their ghost tours for the fall season on the 12th of October. And they will also, they'll have several tours. They will do the house tour. I think that costs $30. They have a grounds tour, which is $20. And then they have an investigative tour, which costs $50. And that's put on by CPRI, Brad Bradley's group. And then Tuckahoe Plantation on the 25th and 26th of October with Haunted Nights going back to Tuckahoe. It's an awesome place. They're in the west end of Richmond on the James River. I missed one, the 19th of October, Exchange Hotel with Flumeri. Tickets are $80, I think, for the night. And then on the 26th, also of October, is the Fleetwood Paracon at Fleetwood Church in Brandy Station, right outside of Culpeper. November 8th and 9th at Dunlore, the Tennessee Ray Chasers going to be back in town with Haunted Nights doing the Dunlore thing. They did that last year. They really loved coming there. They've been several times now. And so they're coming back there. And then on the 14th of December at St. Albans. They end their season Haunted Nights with the Ray Chasers again at St. Albans. I think for the second or third time this year, they've been there. Again, if y'all know of any events that I have failed to mention, because there are things, ghost tours and all kinds of stuff popping up everywhere in October.
Yeah.
If there's any lockdowns that you know of or anything like that, or overnight events, please let me know. Send me a message. I'll put it out there.
Yeah, or put it in the comments too. Yeah.
I would encourage you
Or
got to
put it
do
on the Virginia Paranormal Events page.
Yeah, you got to do it at least one time. You got to do the Culpeper ghost tours.
Yeah.
Because you do the ghost tours, you walk around town. So you got the person that works for the town, and they happen to like ghost stories. And they get Paul and them to lead that, and they walk we walk down the street as a group. He points out several buildings and the ghost stories and the investigations that have happened there and what they've captured. And we make our way back. It's a big loop through town, and we come back. And depending on where we're going to meet up at, Paul and his group will have it set up where they'll be showing a lot of their evidence and stuff like that. I've done it 2 or 3 years in a row, and really it sells out. I mean, I try to get them to do it more often, but those two will sell out quick, just like it did with the jail. They have an investigation at that jail in Northern Virginia, and it just sells out so fast. So
quite a bit going on.
But I'm looking for more things to pop up and places to investigate. Like I said, a lot of people are going out of town to Gettysburg. There's a lot of events that are happening. A lot of Paracons, big Paracons, Michigan. That one's going on right now. Or getting ready to go on this weekend. The New Jersey Paracon will be coming up. I think there's another event in Pennsylvania that's going to be happening. So
that's cool. Quite a bit.
Yeah. And in a few months, we will have another Circle of the Red Circle show or EVP show, whatever one was.
Red Circle EVPs.
Yeah.
Guess we could put those pictures in what's in the red circle.
I wish there was a way of maybe y'all can do it because y'all are the hosts of like you talk about something, you just put the picture up so that everybody can see it. Mm-hmm. I know, like I can do that at work when we have. We stopped using Zoom because of the security problems it has.
Right.
So we went to Microsoft Teams in my work, and Teams has. I can take over the meeting. Let's say I'm talking about something. I can take over the meeting and post on the screen for everybody to see what I'm talking about. Maybe it's a graph or maybe it's a picture or something. And then
I think David can do that. I think David can do that. He's got to turn it into a slideshow or something. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. And it's also what's also good in Teams, and you can do this in Zoom, I think, as well, is even the people that are commenting, they can put links and they can put pictures or little videos in the comment sections as well.
That's cool.
Yeah. But I was for those that joined late, we had started off by talking about the pictures taken at the manor house and how many times people are, you know, taking pictures and reviewing them, you know, and then finding stuff and then sending them to Jerry and David. So,
yeah, tourists.
They don't know what they capture.
Yeah. Y'all
try to educate them though.
Yeah, we do. We work on it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, you have to tone your ears. People will know. You have to tone your ears. I know we got to go to the whispers.
Yeah.
People think they're going to hear something really loud, and a lot of times it's just a
whisper.
breathy. Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But they're there to have a good time. It's a lot of fun.
Thank y'all for joining. I appreciate it. Love all of y'all. Yeah. So
love you too. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, we'll get to everybody in the chats. Thank y'all. We'll get together soon.
Yeah.
And see everybody this fall, maybe Pamplin, maybe Paul. I'll see you in Culpeper. I need to get up there to your place. Just waiting for a free weekend to be able to do all that.
Yeah. Difficult. So. Yes, good to see you, Shayla. And next week we have a twist on our show because we're not doing paranormal talk. We are actually I'm actually going to be presenting a topic about incense. It's off the wall topic, but I'm going on the metaphysical side of some things next week. Incenses, the different uses of them, why they're important. So that will be next week's Vibe Time with Jerry talking about incense.
Jerry's going to be getting high on incense. It's going to be so smoky.
Yes, I think it's important that people know certain things to take with them. So that will be the topic of discussion. Join us. Yes, it'll be interesting, I promise.
Everybody gets a free incense stick.
Yeah, I'll ship y'all incense sticks. Well, thanks for joining me and John Stevens. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate everybody's support every week. It's awesome. So, like I said, we'll see y'all next week, and y'all have a great night.
Yep. Good seeing. Bye, Tina. I didn't even say hi to her, but bye, Tina.
I said hi to her. Now you say bye to her.
Bye, Tina. Paul, I'll see you soon, buddy.